Construction firms are being urged to take on more women and people from different ethnic backgrounds as apprentices to tackle a labour shortage. A record 12,000 apprentices are in training, but the building and construction industry training organisation says 8,000 to 10,000 more are needed over the next 5 years to meet the demand. It's also calling on the government to help boost numbers by funding employers to take on trainees. But as Jessie Chang reports, it's not just about financial incentives.
We're walking up the stairs of the small townhouse that apprentice painter Cherie Stewart is working on. The 21-year-old is one of the 12,000 people training as building and construction apprentices, although she never thought she would end up in trade when she was at high school.
No, I always knew I wanted to do something like hands-on, but I didn't think it would be painting.
Ms Stewart says her careers advisors didn't sell such careers very well.
They still kind of push university a lot, but I guess that's the good thing about the BCITO apprenticeships is that you can learn on the job and earn as well, kind of thing, which is way better and you don't really have any debt.
Young people like Ms Stewart are in hot demand in the construction industry. The government says it's currently 30,000 workers short, with that figure set to increase to 50,000 by 2020. Only 10% of employers take on apprentices, and less than 3% of those apprentices are female. The Chief Executive of BCITO, Warwick Quinn, says firms need to look at hiring people from a wider range of backgrounds.
We must continue to grow and we must diversify who we can offer to and have firms take on staff like women that haven't traditionally taken on before. So traditionally taken on males, so we're doing a lot of focus on employers. Take on a woman because they're actually good for you and don't be frightened. They're a genuine option for you.
Warwick Quinn says government assistance in the early stages of training could help boost numbers. One option, he says, would be for the government to pay employers through the building levy to take on apprentices. But the owner of Profile Painters, Paul Eaton, says money isn't everything.
We look at it as a long-term taking an apprentice, a long-term for the good of the company. Whereas if you get a little bit of money, that might be good nice for a few months, but it's not going to fix the major problem at the end of it. So, I always like it when people give us money, but I don't see it as being a major thing in our decision making.
Paul Eaton has about 35 staff, but says there's enough work to double that. Finding the right people, though, is the problem.
It's so hard to get good staff that really you're better off to get a good young person who's willing to learn and actually train them how to do the job, and then they'll do it how you want to do it, rather than have people that think they know how to do it and want to do it their way and are not willing to work hard.
The government is set to launch its Construction Skills Action Plan, which it says will help address the labour shortage. The Building and Construction Minister, Jenny Salesa, says tackling the problem is not just the government's responsibility.
We are only part of the solution. There is only so much that government will do in this space. So what we're doing now is on Thursday making an announcement, and our hope is that industry will partner with us to ensure that we train enough of our own people.
The plan is due to be announced on Thursday. Mō te hōtaka o te ahi nei, ko Jessie Chang tēnei.